Okay, can you hear me? I'm going to get started here. Just let me know if you can hear me. Awesome, welcome. I'm going to actually turn on my camera here too, just so you can see who I am. See, I don't do this very often, but it's nice to do this in the beginning so you guys can see who I am. And how come I can't find this? Hold on one second. Video settings. You can see I don't do this very often. Start video. There we go. I don't know why I just kind of totally didn't see that big icon in front of my face here. Let me turn this on here. Can you see me? Hi. So I'm April Biss. You can call me April. I have been teaching here at Independence for about 5 years. So I've been here for quite a while. There I am. I know I do see a lot of familiar faces because I've taught for so long. It's nice to see familiar faces and names sometimes coming up into the higher classes, the more advanced classes. So I don't know. But advertising is one of my favorite subjects to teach because I have a long, extensive amount of experience in advertising. And so I've taught not only advanced advertising, but also the regular advertising class as well. And like I said, I've worked for different design ad agencies and publication companies. And yeah, basically I've dealt with a lot of advertising design. So hopefully I can give you guys kind of a lot of my past experience stories and things that I've experienced, pass that on to you guys and, you know, go from there. But yeah, advertising is kind of branding is also another key part of what I enjoy doing too. As a designer, I love starting, you know, a whole brand from scratch. So logo, and then, you know, obviously all the deliverables that go with that. So I like to do that as well. But anyway, I wanted to say hello. I can't turn the camera on for too long just because it takes up too much memory. But I wanted to say hello to all of you. And hopefully we're going to have a really good mod. And you guys are going to have some really great portfolio pieces. So let me turn my camera off here. All right. Geez. It's still light out. It's 5:30 here in Pittsburgh. And it's just one of those gray days. Tamisha, welcome. I just saw you got in here. One of those gray days. I'm looking forward to the spring. I don't know about you guys, but it's can't come soon enough. How are you? You guys ready to start a new mod? Maybe? It goes so quick. You guys don't even have breaks in between. It does. Do you guys have 1 or 2 classes this mod? 2? Are they both design classes, Kay? Well, that's pretty neat. All right. So you got lots of designing to do. And Tamisha, you only have 1? All right. So you should be good. Yeah. Sometimes it's nice to have that balance. All right. Well, welcome to DES470. This is Advanced Advertising Design. This is the first week 1 live lecture 1. I kind of like to start off this first slide with a Will Rogers quote. Advertising is the art of convincing people to spend money they don't have for something they don't need. Right? Isn't that true? You know, I don't know about you guys. I am a sucker for compulsive buying at the, you know, end caps of any type of store. And, you know, being designers, I think we are also very subject to that. You know, especially with product design, a package design, you know, a label that you like, you know, anything that kind of sucks you in. It's a sale. There you go. Anything that has a sale for sale. Exactly. I am all about that as well. Take me to the sale section. Let me see those red and yellow ticketed items. Yeah, definitely. So we're going to just, you know, I think this class is really neat because it really dives into a lot of the techniques of how to persuade someone to buy into a brand, an idea, a product, anything in regards to what that brand is about. There's so much psychology involved to it. I mean, it's not even just what the product is and what, the ad is saying, but also where it's placed on the shelf. I mean, it goes pretty deep. I mean, we're not going to get into that much detail, but as far as the advertisement itself and the actual campaign is kind of what we will be kind of diving into. But there's a lot of things involved in advertising. And that's why it's nice to maybe take a psychology class too, while you're kind of going through as a designer through your design classes, because there's just so many parallels with that, as far as psychology goes. So yeah, compulsive buying, we want those people to buy into a brand. Just a few announcements here, just so we're on the same page. You guys are upper, pretty much in the upper advanced classes now. So you should already be kind of aware of when due dates are, and I am here to help you guys succeed. I want all of you to have pretty much gain as much as you can from this class, and get as much as you can out of it, but also be very successful. And, because if you're successful, I am, and it makes me happy when you guys come out of here, with really great work and, knowing that you actually learned something. So if you, it's life, if you run into any situation in your own life, kind of balancing everything, just come to me or reach out to me. Tell me what's going on, whatever you feel comfortable with. I am more willing to be flexible with you if you come to me and talk to me about what's going on in your life. I have a life. I have things that happen. So, I'm human too. So just let me know what's going on. But usually all the week work for the assignments and the assessments are due before midnight Mountain Standard Time on Saturdays. And then your discussion posts, they need to be done, the initial one, on Wednesday before midnight Mountain Standard Time. And then obviously your 2 responses before the deadline. If your discussion posts are posted any time past the deadline, you will not get credit for that. And there's a reason for that. If you're posting past the due date, no one's going to go back and read your post because they're already on to the next week. So you're not going to get as much as you can out of that discussion. So we don't, obviously the university has a late policy against the discussions as far as not getting credit for it. So make sure you're, posting that during the due dates for that. And it's funny because when I went through my master's, we had discussions too. I was an online student as well for my master's. And I as soon as I looked at the discussions when I first started, I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of a waste of time. To be honest, I thought, oh, I'm not going to get as much, from this as what I think I will. The end of my master's degree, I actually completely switched my thought process around. The experience itself totally did like a 180 on me, because it was only because the students made it the way it was, and the instructor. They were all very involved in the discussions. They, would give me new perspectives to think about. So it's really what you make of it, is what you get out of it, is what I'm kind of trying to say. So you can really gain a lot from it if you put the time in and effort. All right, so live lectures will be held Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 3:30 Mountain Standard Time. That's where we're meeting. I'm Eastern Standard Time, so we start at 5:30. And then Wednesday, 4:30. So hopefully you guys, that's a good time for you guys. If not, listen to the lecture recordings that will be provided in the live lecture lesson forum, which is, always where it is. Here I am again, April Biss. Just call me April by my first name, that's fine. Just a little bit about me. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. That's where I'm living currently, but I have been living all around. After graduation with my undergrad, I had my Bachelor of Science degree in graphic design at La Roche College in Pittsburgh. I did 4 years on ground there. And after that, I got my first advertising agency job at a small ad agency in Pittsburgh. And I worked there for a year, and it was an amazing experience because it was a smaller agency. So I was able to really get to be hands-on with a lot of different things. I actually left there a year after, only because my boyfriend, and then turned into a husband at the time, wanted to go for his master's in architecture, and so he wanted me to go with him. So we moved to Ohio, and that's where I lived, Akron, Ohio, for about 6 years while he went to go to get his master's. And I actually obtained another advertising agency job in Akron, Ohio. So I worked there. I think I worked there for almost it was 3 years at that ad agency. Worked for various larger companies, for Synergy, Alcoa, um, all kinds of different neat experiences there. And then after that, I actually got a publication job at a local publication company. I kind of switched gears. I wanted kind of like a change. Ad agencies are a little stressful, can be a little stressful, and I wanted to change it up a little bit. So I worked for a publication company for a year there. So I worked on a magazine. I fell in love with magazine design. I fell in love with it. And then we basically moved, after 6 years in Akron, we moved down to Tampa, Florida for my husband at the time got a job down there. So I moved with him, and I obtained 3 other publication design jobs down there. So I was actually designing for 3 publications in Tampa. And, after a while, the whole market, real estate market crashed. Everything kind of went crazy. I ended up, starting to get into teaching. I tried my first teaching experience down in Tampa. It was an on-ground college, and I fell in love with it. So it pushed me to kind of go get my master's degree in graphic design, because I needed my master's to teach there after teaching there for 2 years. So I got my master's of art degree in graphic design at Savannah College of Art and Design in 2012. And I did it all online, like you guys. So I was an online student. I like to tell you guys this because I can relate to you guys and what you guys go through. It's different. It's not like being an on-ground student. So I understand that. And, hopefully I can relate to you guys a little bit better because of that. So I've been on the other side. 18 years of working experience in the design industry, 6 years teaching in higher ed. I did have my own design studio. I still do. Actually, I'm working currently with a client of mine on branding, which is kind of definitely a process with kind of balancing everything in life. But yeah, definitely love it. And I have a 3-year-old daughter. Her name's Amelia, and she is my whole world. So she keeps me busy as well. And then there's my Behance link if you guys want to check out kind of my work. It's kind of nice to see what your instructors are doing. All right, enough about me. Let's talk about you guys. Where are you guys living at right now? Where are you currently living? Maybe where you're from. Tamisha, you are a familiar name for sure. Cheyenne, okay, Wyoming, cool. South Carolina. Wow, you guys are pretty far apart there. Pretty neat to see where you guys are living. I wish I was in the South right now. I've never been to Wyoming. But I wish I was in Florida again, let me tell you. I kind of miss it. Don't bother. Like to check out the West for sure, but very cool. All right. So, not in the winter, it's too winter. You guys get snow there, right? Yeah. And wind. Yikes. Yeah, I don't like that. It's like Chicago. I would not live in Chicago, but here I am living in Pittsburgh, so I guess it's just as bad. Oh, it's worse. It's worse than Wyoming? Wow. All right. Take your word for it. Interesting. Oh my goodness. 60 plus miles per hour sustained winds? That's crazy. Is it because it's so flat? Is that why it's like every year? Huh. That's wild. Never knew. Things you learn. Had some snow last month, but it didn't last very long. Yeah, I heard about that. Actually, a weird pressure thing, yeah. Actually, Tamisha, I was in Tampa for New Year's right before they got all the frost warnings. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. All right, well, I'm definitely ready for spring to come. My goodness, can't come fast enough, but then it goes so fast, so I kind of wanted to slow down after that. All right, you guys. So what is advertising? What do you guys think advertising is? If we talk about it, in your own words, what would you say advertising is? The art of enticing people to buy something. Yes, there you go. That's a good way of saying it. The art of enticing people to buy something. Yeah, definitely. Exactly. So, it kind of catches your eye, it kind of makes you think, oh, I want to be a part of that. Like when you were in school or even now, you might see a brand of car that you say, oh, I want to be kind of like, and maybe you're not, sometimes you think, okay, I'm superficial for thinking I want to be a part of this brand. But, sometimes we are kind of very persuaded by certain things, and we want to be kind of part of that culture, part of that brand. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it's like, do you have certain clothes that you wear that different brands, shoes, hats, cars? I mean, think about all that stuff. Maybe it's not that. Maybe you're more into getting special deals and recycling and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's different types of brands. It's not just all high quality, like types of brands that we're talking about too. So advertising is used in a free market system to promote one brand or group over another. Most competing brands are of equal quality, that is, they are parity products or services. Advertising differentiates brands, groups, and causes, and ultimately sells products and calls people to action. So that's kind of like the long description of what advertising is. And so think about it. When you go to the grocery store, you go down that aisle to get, say, let's see, clothing detergent. You probably see at least 20 brands of the same clothing detergent on the shelf. And, it's the same type of quality, type of detergent, give or take. It's the same thing. It's the same product, only different brands. Some may have scented, some may not, and all that. So branding and advertising is how it differentiates a brand from other brands. So they're all kind of competing with each other, and some do it in different ways. Some change their bottle packaging. You see that all the time with shampoo and conditioners and, that kind of stuff, where they're always changing the product, the actual package all the time. And that's a tactic to get you guys to think, hey, this is pretty cool. It's a completely new design, must be better. So that's a tactic. But basically, it differentiates brands, groups, and causes. It doesn't necessarily just have to be for products. It could be for a cause or group and a service as well. So advertising differentiates brands, groups, and causes, just like these down below here on the slide, and ultimately sells products and calls people to action. Here's a lot of awareness ads that get your attention. American Red Cross. Here's one about violence against women. So there can be causes that kind of help you maybe gain awareness about a certain issue, a social issue that you want to either, raise more awareness about and or, give to the cause or organization. So advertising comes in many forms as well. There's different types of advertising. There's public service advertising, and we're going to talk about all these individually. There's cause advertising, there's commercial consumer advertising, and then there's in-game advertising. So, depending upon what client that you're working on, it will kind of categorize itself into one of these particular sections and topics. The public service advertising example here, this is kind of graphic. Public service advertising is advertising that seeks to further the common good. So they're basically trying to raise awareness about a social issue. And this one is about talking on the phone or texting while driving. Very graphically getting your attention here by shock. So public service advertising is a lot of kind of like could be shocking type of things, especially when it comes to, animal abuse. You've seen all those commercials where you hear Sarah McLachlan come on and you quickly turn. I don't know about you guys, but I quickly turn it because I can't see it. It makes me so sad. Yeah. So a lot of times the shock does kind of get your attention. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it makes you look away. But yeah, public service advertising. There's cause advertising. The person on the other end. Yep. Mm-hmm. Cause advertising, though initiated by commercial concerns, seeks to raise funds for nonprofit organizations or raise awareness on social issue and runs and pay media sites. So cause advertising, for example, here's this quit campaign around this. I don't know if this is an actual thing that looks almost mocked up, but it's kind of raising awareness about blindness in regards to linking with smoking. So, there's a cause and they're raising awareness about that. There's commercial advertising. This is definitely a lot of this out there. Promotes brands and commodities by informing consumers. It is also used to promote individuals, groups, corporations, and manufacturers. So this is the large majority of advertising. A little mini coupe ad here, double page spread. Kind of advertising the supercharged Is It Love car here. And then there's in-game advertising. I'm sure you guys have all see this or maybe annoyed by it. In-game advertising, whether product placement, live billboard feeds, or ads embedded into games, is often well received by appropriately targeted gamer audiences. So it might pop up on your screen when you're playing a certain game on your phone or your tablet, and that's called in-game advertising. What type of ad agencies are out there? There are different kinds. So we're going to talk about full service agencies. I've worked for 2 of these. Full service agencies are typically a little bit larger in scope of how many people are employed, and they do usually everything, from maybe even doing photo shoots to laying out all of the advertising. You might even have an ad services department that actually just deals with the actual advertisements themselves. You might even have a section of photo manipulation, have just designers kind of doing photo manipulation. So there's a lot of different facets within a full service agency, but they definitely have a larger employee, I should say, number in regards to a bigger agency. Independent agencies are more small sized. I've worked for some of those as well. Those are kind of nice because you get to maybe do a little bit more than you would at bigger ones, just because there's just not as many people working there. So you might be more involved with a lot of the processes that you might not have in a larger company. But independent agencies are basically, ones that pop up and they're owned by one person, and it's a smaller group of people. Interactive agencies, there are ones that are specialized, so they just do interactive type stuff like website design, and some do commercials in regards to that. So we're going to be kind of talking about advertising campaigns, because we're going to be doing this in this class. We're going to be creating an advertising campaign. So we talked about what advertising is. Let's talk about what an advertising campaign is. Do you guys know what it is? What's a campaign, an advertising campaign? A set of advertisements. Can you be more specific about that? Could they all be the same or different? More likely different. Mixed set of mediums for a common goal. Okay. All right. Interesting. So advertising campaigns are the groups of advertising messages which are similar in nature. So that's the idea behind a campaign. So what that means is there's usually a theme, and that theme will be carried across. When you say likely different, I know what you mean by that. Maybe the deliverables are different. So you might have like a print ad and then a web ad and maybe a billboard. That's different in terms of the deliverables, the types of deliverables, but the message is the same. So the theme is the same. The design might be slightly different, but is cohesive in how it looks. The theme is the same. The message might change, but be along the same story. It's almost like a story that you're telling. So that's what advertising campaign is. So here's an example, and I know you guys have seen this before. This is a classic advertising campaign, Got Milk, using celebrities in advertising here. So you're using that theme, that same concept, and it could appear in several different publications or other applications. Yeah, there you go. Yep. So that is, this is a good example of a campaign because they're showing different people, but it's the same theme. And, these could be in different publications. Here's another one, 2 different print ads. And this is for an awareness campaign as far as, a no smoking campaign. So same theme. You can tell it tells the same story, just like these. They look different in regards to their images, but this, it's cohesive in the style and the whole story is similar. Here's another one that's an older one, Volkswagen, very classic advertisement here. And this just goes to show you how you can create ads that are very similar in nature and have a campaign, but have different sizes and different imagery that are, still cohesive. These are pretty neat. These are pretty neat because back then when these were being advertised, big cars, big boat cars were the thing. That's all people had. So Volkswagen had the challenge of making the smaller cars seem better and more kind of like, kind of the new fad type thing. They did a great job with their advertising for sure. Here is one. I don't know exactly what this is for, but I do remember, I think it was Old Navy a long, long time ago, and I wish I would have saved the images, had a similar theme on their packaging for the one season. So you'll notice certain clothing stores will have different themes too, like Target or Old Navy. And they'll change throughout the season, and that's a campaign. But they'll be very similar in nature. So not only were their TV ads will look similar, their print ads, but also their packaging may also be correspondent of that. Here's a really good classic example of campaign advertising. This was iPod's older advertising campaign that, you could see. There's a guy walking past this. I guess this was like a storefront advertisement, but it's also in print publications as well. You can see the very bottom left, that could have been either a web ad or a print ad. And then the trolley, I think that's either a trolley or a subway. It might be a subway. Wrap is correspondent with that as well. So that's kind of what a campaign is. And this is what you're going to be doing for this class. You're going to be creating a campaign. So you're going to have different deliverables that you're going to have to create this campaign, this theme, tell this story, but also have, a type of persuasive strategy to attract people to want to buy into that. Okay. Any questions about what we've kind of talked about so far? Oh, pretty basic information, maybe a refresher. Yeah. Good. All right, so there's a process of what we do as designers. I call that the design process, or it is called the design process. We do it, say, when we create a logo and, when we start branding, we do a process. We should be doing a design process. You guys should be also doing this for an advertising campaign. There's always a process. And this process is the story of what we do as designers. This is the beauty behind what we do. And clients don't see this typically. They might see thumbnails, possibly if they ask for it. Typically you don't show them thumbnails, but the process is something that you do on your end before approaching a project, while creating your project, because it is the research behind what you do. It is the brainstorming behind what you do. It is kind of where you come up with so many different creative and meaningful concepts. And, I hear students say all the time, I'm having a design block. I can't think of any ideas. Well, my answer to that is that's why you do a design process. And that's basically the answer to it, really. Because we as designers, I think everybody thinks that because we're creative people, we're visual people, that we just come up with all these ideas just, all the time. But we don't. We're people, we're human. We sometimes need a little push or a little bit of inspiration. And doing the design process will help us gain as many different concepts as we possibly can that are more meaningful, instead of just going straight to the computer and designing something. Yeah, you can do that. You can come up with something very aesthetically beautiful, but it's probably not going to work. It's not going to stand the test of time. It's not going to be meaningful. So by doing the process, you're gaining that information. You're kind of understanding who the client is. You're understanding who the target audience is. Then you yourself almost put yourself into where the target audience is, you're putting yourself in their shoes so that you can fully understand how to design for that particular brand and who you're speaking to. And then you want to go into your brainstorming so that you can come up with different ideas. Brainstorming could be adjective lists, mind maps. It could be you talking to somebody collaboratively, talking to somebody to get ideas and jotting them down. Going through this process step is so important because you might miss something. And you might add more to it. And then, typically after you do the brainstorming, you go into the thumbnail process, the sketches, things that you might be hindered by if you went straight to the computer and you were hindered by the tools that they have. So sketching stuff out, even, I'm not a good illustrator, but I jot stuff down just so I can get it out. And it's weird because I usually go back to my first sketches sometimes and say, hey, I like this idea. So research is key. Number one, know your target audience. So that's what the research is for. Knowing who the competitors are is huge. Setting the budget, deciding a proper theme, selection of media scheduling, and executing the campaign is usually the steps. I mean, it seems very linear, but the process shouldn't be as linear. You could go back and forth depending upon. But that's the story behind what we do. This is what you guys should be doing every time before you design anything, not just an ad campaign, a logo, anything. You should be doing a process first. A mood board. Excuse me. I'm going to pause. I'm going to mute my mic here. I'm going to cough. Sorry about that. I'm kind of have a little end of a cold here, so I'm fighting every once in a while. But so you guys should be doing the process steps. And sometimes, it takes a while to kind of get used to the steps. But once you get used to it, you become quicker and quicker at it. So it doesn't become, as long as you would think. Okay, so who creates advertising? We talked about what advertising is. We talked about what campaign advertising is, different types of advertising agencies. Who actually creates advertising? So in an advertising agency, conventional creative team is a duo comprised of an art director and a copywriter. This nowadays is kind of more flexible. There's a lot of freelancers out there as well that might not have a creative team. So it might be all, you wear all the hats if you're a freelancer. But if you're actually working at an ad agency, typically you do have a creative team. I worked for a couple advertising agencies in Pittsburgh and in Ohio, like I told you. And excuse me, they have all had creative teams where they'll have a manager, like a art director that you would report to if you're not the art director. If you're the art director, you usually have somebody higher up to talk to that you sign off stuff who is actually higher than you, either be the boss or, the owner. And then from there, they have just the regular graphic designers under the directors. So typically, yeah, you do have a team if you're working in an advertising agency. All right. Any questions so far? Okay, I'm kind of feeling like a coughing thing is coming up, fit is coming up. So I'm going to take a 5-minute break if that's okay with you guys. 5-minute break. We'll go back. I want to show you just a few things in Canvas before we get started with the demo. Does that sound good? All right, so 5-minute break. You guys grab your chocolate, dinner, whatever you have going on. Get some snacks going on, and I'll meet you guys here in 5 minutes. Okay, can you guys hear me? Sorry if I scared you. All right, awesome. I'm going to switch gears here. I'm going to go to the Canvas, our class in Canvas here. Okay, thank you guys. And typically everything's pretty much similar to all your other classes. This is basically the daily checkpoints that you guys check out every day, hopefully, and gain extra points for if you get the right answers. Shark Academic Resources is great ways to get help if you need extra resources. Live session, this is where you went to get into the live session. If you are listening to the recording, this is where you find the recording. And again, lecture days and times are listed in here as well. So once I'm done with this lecture, I'll be posting it down below here as a link. All right, course information can be found here. Library, Student Success Center, readings and videos. Help desk if you're having issues with the software or technical problems, computer support, career preparation about the instructor. Excuse me, my bio is here. My contact information is here as well. I have my phone on me all the time, so if you need to get a hold of me, go ahead, email me. I will be there to respond within 24 hours. And if you need to call me, you can too. I prefer email, but if you prefer to talk to me as well, you can definitely call me. That's my home cell phone number, by the way. Course content list. This is kind of nice because this is kind of a run through of what we'll be talking about as far as, well, there's also the syllabus here as well, but it kind of shows you, oh, I thought it showed you a breakdown of the class. Well, I guess up here, course information, maybe that's what it is. This is the syllabus. Here we go, learning objectives. Little roadmap here, outline. Okay, this is the outline of what we'll be going through each week. So this is kind of nice to see if you're like, okay, what are we doing in week 1? You can kind of see like a little synopsis of what we're going to be working on. Okay, excuse me, let's go back. Let's go to week 1 here. I just want to go through some objectives, learning objectives, which you guys should be, learning objectives are pretty much what you guys should be going away with every week. What you should be learning and accomplishing. There's a lot here. So I'm going to read through these. So for this week, we're going to identify 3 methods of advertising strategies and define the advantages and disadvantages of each method. Research and define 3 advanced advertising methods used in marketing and advertising, and discuss the effect these methods of advertising have on consumers' behavior. Create a year-long advertising campaign that adheres to communicating a client's brand of the campaign concept as determined in the campaign strategy. Define a target audience and conduct research to develop a concept to create a cohesive multi-part campaign strategy. Interpret and utilize at least 3 advanced advertising strategies for an effective design advertising campaign. Communicate advertising design ideas and visual concepts in writing and presentation. Compare the differences between traditional advertising, print, outdoor campaigns, TV/radio, to non-traditional advertising, so online, social media, electronic publications. Research and define 5 social impacts of advertising. Define the concept of integrated brand promotion, IBP, and the role of advertising plays in the process. So you may want to take a look at this short little video. It's about 5 minutes about how the benefits of working with clients. You can get started there. All right, so that's kind of just, that's a lot of learning objectives, guys. So we're going to be covering a lot this week, well, every week, but let's go into discussions before we get into the demo here. So discussion 1, a lot of you guys, or actually a few of you guys got started on this so far. Excuse me. So basically what we're going to do, you can read through this background here. I'm going to go to the prompt. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So for this discussion, you're going to choose 2 of the following advanced advertising strategies. Research and discuss in detail the strategy. What is it? How is it used? What product company is it commonly used for? How do you design and write for the strategy? Also, find 1 example to illustrate each strategy you have chosen to discuss. So 2 of the following strategies to discuss, you're going to pick from this list of 10. So using emotion or humor, as a strategy. Call to action. You may hear my furnace coming on here. It's a little loud. Using emotion or fear. Using emotion and greed and vanity. Exclusivity. Bandwagon. Okay, bandwagon. Facts and figures. Testimonials. Celebrity endorsements. That was kind of like that Got Milk campaign that was using that. Simple solutions is also another strategy. All right, so, and we're going to be talking about this a little bit this week too in detail, so you'll kind of get a synopsis of that. For your citation, you might use articles that show examples of campaigns utilizing the strategies you chose. You can also find articles from experts that run marketing companies and develop these types of strategies on a daily basis. Your initial and reply post should work to develop a group understanding of this topic. Challenge each other, build on each other, always be respectful, but discuss and figure it out together. All right, so, and then here are the reply requirements. You guys can read through this. This is all of what you need to hit upon for possible full credit. So basically, we're going to be, you're going to be looking at choosing 2 of these, and you're going to be discussing this. You're going to research and discuss in detail the strategy. What is it? How is it used? You might have, you will want to use an example of an advertisement that uses that particular strategy. When you do that, make sure you're citing where you found it from. APA citation of an image. You can put it at the very bottom of your post. All right, any questions about that? You said I skimmed the discussion post, but I haven't started yet. Okay. I think I posted, it was yesterday. Zoom out here. Go to my announcements here. Some techniques, persuasive techniques in advertising, may be called a little differently in terms of what they have here. But you might want to watch this video. It's kind of a neat little video showing some of these techniques, persuasive techniques in video commercials. So kind of interesting to see. There's testimonials, one of the ones that we went over. Some of these are just named a little different, but you'll get kind of the idea when you're looking for it. So kind of neat. All right. So it's kind of neat to see what you guys come up with. If you can't, definitely embed the image into your post. That means you're going to have the image show as soon as you click on the post. It'll show kind of like this is showing on here, and then you kind of write about it. It's just nice to see that without it being kind of attached where you have to download it to look at it. So make sure you're doing that. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any other questions about just the class in general, where to find stuff, or the discussion that we just went over? Okay, you guys are pretty good. All right, so let's take a look at your assignment 1. Typically what I like to do is separate assignment 1 and assessment 1, or the assignment and the assessment during the week. So I'll do like week 1. The first lecture, I'll go over the assignment, and then the second lecture, I'll go over the assessment. I believe your assessment for this week is a quiz. So we might just be kind of covering more of assignment 1 for tomorrow's lecture. All right, so assignment 1, let's read through this, see if you have any questions. Let me zoom in here. There we go. So read through the background. I won't read over that. Prompt, I'll just go straight to the prompt here. So for this assignment, you guys will choose one of the provided clients, research and develop a concept for a multi-level campaign. Look at the research for week 1's. Oh, okay, it was a 4-question essay quiz. Okay. Did you already take it, Kay? Excuse me. Okay, very good. Yeah, okay. Okay, so look at the research for week 1's discussion to get an idea of advanced strategies you plan to use in the campaign. Okay, so do the discussion first so that you can get a good idea of different strategies that you can use for this campaign, and find at least one additional reference found from the IU library resources. Okay, just like the double resource there. From your campaign development research, include the following: a minimum of 300 words describing the direction for your campaign and what your creative concepts will be. Include advanced advertising strategies to be used, APA citations from research. Target audience. Identify which event is used for each deliverable. Design ideas include examples. Campaign slogans, one for each seasonal event. What is provided? You have a ski and summer resort, amusement park, and zoo to choose from. So you want to have a company logo, which it's actually already provided to you guys, so you'll have that included into your research. A brief fact sheet of the company, list of seasons, list of events, and then see the assets to download below. What is required? Use the existing company logo provided. You cannot change or alter the logo in any way. Very important, you know, and some of you guys like to do that, but keep it as is. You know, typically you can have a client that already has a logo. They just want a new campaign to go around the logo. So you're not really necessarily changing the logo. You're just using it in a different, you know, in a different advertising campaign. Choose 2 different seasons and 1 event from each season to advertise. Assign the deliverables below to the seasonal events. Note, there are only 3 deliverables listed at this time, so one of your seasons will only have 1 deliverable assigned for this presentation. In week 2, the client will add a surprise deliverable that will be added to the season that has 1 deliverable. So basically, you're going to have an added surprise, so an added deliverable. So you'll have a total of 4, but you'll only see 3 right now. Okay? So you'll have an EPUB ad in week 2, YouTube commercial week 3, and an outdoor advertisement bus wrap for week 4. And then obviously a surprise one that you're not seeing right there. Okay, what to submit? So this document, when finished, should be professionally laid out and include not only the designer, which is you, information, but the client's logo as well. Use your imagination. What you create here for the general layout will be used for your final presentation package in week 4. It will be exciting and compel the prospective client to choose your campaign idea. All right, so this is the fact sheet. Zipped folder, you want to download that, and also the logo folder, download that, put it in your assignment 1 class folder, so you have that ready to go. And for this submission requirement, you're going to name it this file name for the native file, and then the PDF that you'll be exporting it out as, multi-page PDF, will be what you need to, and it'll be the same name, it'll just have PDF at the end. Okay, and then, you know, you can read through the criteria here and make sure that you're hitting upon all of the rubric standards that I'll be evaluating your work on. So pay attention to the posting guidelines when you need to post this. Don't post late. Submit, assignment specification. Required content includes such as design elements, company, product research, recap of project goals, target audience, scope of work, research, visual elements, creative direction of all overall campaign information on how you can plan to make your pieces relevant throughout the year, are clear and concise and presented in an organized professional presentation. Craftsmanship. Added meaningful content to the assignment, best quality work displayed, demonstrated design and creativity ability, relevant to the graphic design program, industry-related, portfolio worthy of applicable citations in APA format, and correct spelling and grammar used. So basically, you're going to be doing, you know, you can do it any way that you want. I have an actual template that you guys can use if you want, and I'll post it to announcements. And I'm going to show that to you in a second here. And feel free to change it in any way. If you want to use that just as a template to go from, that's fine. It's going to save some time. If you want to do your own, that's fine. But I'm going to have this to offer to you guys so you can build from it, okay? So let's get this open here so that we can take a look. I don't have it in announcements yet. When we're done talking, I will upload it so you guys can have it. Even if it's just a look off of it, you know, for inspiration, so be it. So let me get this open here. Now I did this in InDesign, so this is a good way to start here. And these pages, I have 3 pages. You can add pages, you can subtract pages, it's completely up to you, but this is a template to get you started. So I kind of got started with what I wanted to just choose for this demonstration. I just chose Discovery Land, which is one of the clients that you guys have to choose from. And so this template is nice because it's pretty much covering a lot of the stuff that you need to put in here. And it's giving you areas to plug in your research. This is your process, basically, right? Okay, so you add your company logo in here. You can go, file, place. Add the logo in there. It's provided in that logo folder. Have it centered in there, nice and neat. Put the brand name in here. Take the type tool. You're doing Discovery Island, that's where that would go, and then your name would go here. You can even put designer. Okay. Then I have overall concept ideas for campaign theme. Now this can be what you want to do, and I have this written in here. And what you would do is if you were to go with this template, just read this and then take this out and put it in your own words. I don't want to see my repeated words here. This is just for you guys. So this says the concept of the campaign theme should be described here in detail. Recap of project goals can be explained here as well. You might want to break this down in, what the seasonal themes that you're looking at, your concepts for each season as well. It's not a large area to write in here, so if you need more room, then by all means, you might want to slide this information off, pull this down, kind of play with it, however you want to do it, okay? I'm just giving this to you guys as a template to start from. I just have it nicely aligned for you guys, so, obviously if you go with your own design, make sure you're presenting it in a way that's very easy to read. You have alignment going on, so it's easy to follow. Okay, you have the necessary white space in between as well. Target audience, you can explain here. Explain who the target audience is, male, female. Are they male, female? Maybe primarily more males or primarily more females, or maybe they're both male and female. Maybe they're more married couples. Discuss this. And it's not necessarily just who you're advertising to, but who is going to buy into the brand or product or service that you have. Who you're actually going to be speaking to. Do they have families? Do they have kids? Income level, education level, personality traits. Really, the more specific, the better that you have here. You can even go into, this person would be found in coffee shops on the weekends, if you're talking about a very youthful type of a target audience. Talk about who that person is, what their characteristics are, their personality. So the more detailed, the better, because then you have a better understanding of who you're talking to so that you can choose the strategy that you think is best for that specific target audience. Who would be more, persuaded into a certain strategy because of that. Okay. Slogan ideas. When you think about slogans, think about, you guys know what slogans are? We just had the Super Bowl, right? There's lots of slogans in the catchphrases. Yeah, like got milk. That's a slogan. Just do it. Yep. Exactly. So, think about different slogan ideas. Something very simple. You can just look up slogan ideas for the specific brand. Say if you're doing the skiing brand, you might look up competitor slogans so that you have an idea of where to start. So I have a list of 10 here. You could type in campaign inspiration. Maybe there's a campaign that's very similar or something that you're thinking about doing that you're inspired by, that you've looked, you found online, or maybe you have, a printed piece at home that you took a picture of. Place in the campaign inspiration, something that you are inspired by and you like that whole idea. You're not obviously going to rip the whole idea off, but you're inspired by it to make your own individual unique idea, but kind of go with that same thought process. So this can be images of different campaign pieces that you find that you're placing in here. There's room for 6 here. By all means, you can take out, I would do at least 3, but you can take out, take out the bottom 3 if you want, or even add more. You can change up these pages by all means. It's not set in stone for sure, but this is a good start to your process. You're kind of gaining all that information. You're doing your research. You're kind of showing what your campaign theme is. And you might want to go back to your campaign theme. You might want to start all of the target audience first, your inspiration first. After you pick a client, you might want to start looking at visual design elements first, do an adjective list first, and then go back and address the concept theme, the slogan ideas, because those might come secondary to other research components here. Okay, the second artboard here, again, you can change the name up here just so it's consistent, Discovery Island. It's nice to have this on top presentation wise, so that when you're flipping through this for your final presentation, you know who the client is and who the designer is on this. Just makes for a nice presentation. Okay. Campaign relevancy. This area should focus on explaining the creative direction of the overall campaign and provide information on how you plan to make your pieces relevant throughout the year. And again, this is a small area. You might want to take your adjective list, pull it down somewhere to the next page, so you can pull this down a little bit more, because I think it was like 300 words you guys had to hit. And I don't think this is 300 words, obviously, but so feel free to kind of shift things around. Color palette, this is inspiration, like a mood board almost. You're setting kind of ideas of how you're going to set the mood, what colors you're thinking about. These definitely can be pulled by, the actual logo itself. You might want to pull some of the colors from there and then add more. So think about, the overall tone of your campaign pieces. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to choose those colors. It's just what you're inspired by. So it's not like set in stone. Typefaces, maybe there's a typeface that you're inspired by that you could use for your slogan that would align with your brand and that you're, looking at. So it could be slogan, your headline typeface you could be showing here. Have it set into the typeface that maybe the name and the actual typeface that it's set into, so you can visually see it. And maybe have in there, let me see if I have, I don't have like a type, I thought I had a type box here. Maybe have like slogan, body copy. I guess slogan would be kind of like headline. Maybe a subhead. So maybe I'll think about, and this is set in Baskerville here. So you guys can have this. So you can show each of these kind of maybe ideas that you're thinking about with different typefaces that might align really well with the actual brand. And then you can place that in with a separate type box if you want to make it, like 3 examples next to each. So let's say if you're working on Discovery Cove, you might want to find something like, let's see, let's try, and I'm just pulling this out of just very quickly. Let's do Allura. And then I'm typing it in the actual typeface and then also saying what the typeface is so that you can visually see it and then you know what typeface it is. And that's nice because then you can go back, if you like that typeface, you can go back and say, okay, that's Allura, that's the one that I want to do. So maybe do like 3 different ones. Maybe this is Magnolia script. So I have to be a lot smaller. but you get the idea. Just kind of align it. Okay. All right. So yeah, slogan and headline, that could be more decorative. Subhead might be more emphasized, less decorative, and then body copy would definitely be some type of readable typeface, whether it be sans serif or serif. Visual design elements. This could be anything from shapes to textures to, you know, I don't know, like the overall look of something, the style of something that you like that you would think would align perfectly with the campaign that you're thinking about. You know, so this can be abstract. It doesn't have to be something that actually looks like something. It could be like scratch texture that you really like, that you might want to incorporate into your campaign. It could be the mood setting. Maybe it's a picture of a sunset and people running on the beach, and you like that whole mood of that look. And it's not necessarily a picture that you might use, but it's the mood that you like, that you want to capture within your campaign. So you would place that in there. Okay. And again, you don't have to do, you can shift all these around. It's completely up to you. Adjective list. This is one of my favorite processes of that I like to do. And one of the first processes that I usually do when I start a project. And basically what I do, and when I get a job, when I actually just got a freelance project for my one friend who's a pianist, and she wants me to work on her branding. And she gave me, you know, all her information. And I asked her, if you could describe your brand in 3 words, how would you describe them? And that's kind of a nice question to ask someone if you're working with a client, especially with a logo, because it's challenging. How do you describe it within 3 words? That gives you, designer-wise, like a good basis to, you know, use and go off of. Right. Well, it's hard to find adjectives for use for an advertisement, but think about slogans too. And once you kind of think about a theme, you can start thinking about adjectives. You know, even if it's just the brand, think about the brand. So Discovery Island, what if I think about that brand, what adjectives come into my mind? Well, what would be probably helpful is to download the fact sheet, and that is also provided in your assignment one. Let me open that up so you guys can see that real quick here. Company fact sheet. So let's look at Discovery Island fact sheet. And this is provided, again, for each brand, depending on which one you choose. This is provided for you to put in there. So this basically is describing the year events, the seasonal events here on the right. And then it talks about what this actual brand is. So this will be information you want to include in your presentation. So this is Florida's newest attraction. Discovery Island opened its doors in 2015. It is a combination amusement and water park offering year-round fun. Home to over 50 rides, including 2 of the top 10 U.S. coasters, Fire Eater and Wicked, and a 50-acre water park with a lazy river, 15 water slides, and wave pool. Discovery Island offers year-round events, concerts, and festivals. Request for proposal. So Blue Mountain Ski Resort is in need of a full year campaign advertising, not only its winter and summer events, but its holiday events as well. Oh, you know what? This might be for another one here. Hold on. I might be reading from another one. Okay, yeah, forget I said that because I didn't make these up here, guys, but this is actually repeated off of the ski resort one. For some reason, this is repeated down below here for that one. I don't know if the person that actually created these knows that that was repeated. Let me open up the other one just to see if that's actually repeated as well. I didn't notice that until now. Nope, the other one isn't. So the only one that's repeated is, let me open that one up. Discovery. That has request for proposals different down there. So if you're doing discovery, it's kind of similar, really, if you think about it. It's basically what you're going to be doing is a full year campaign advertisement. Let me close these out here. Not only it's winter and summer events, but it's holiday events as well. So it's pretty much, you're just going to replace like the actual wording there. So it's Discovery Island instead of Blue Mountain Ski Resort. Okay, so provide presentation that shows a cohesive campaign throughout all the pieces you deem best utilized to showcase their events. Okay. So when you read through that, you might come up with some adjectives in mind. I mean, obviously fun is one of the words in there. So you might start thinking, okay, it's an amusement park, thrilling, bold. You know, start kind of thinking about those keywords. And do you know why an adjective is, you know what you use an adjective list for? Like if you were to write down all these adjectives that come into your head when you think about that brand, what do you do with those adjectives when you're done? What could you use them for? Find the feel of the brand. Yeah, you can choose typefaces that look like that. So if you're looking for excited, bold, I don't know, think of all the adjectives that kind of go with a thrill park, you know, give me some adjectives, guys. Boundless, like adjectives that kind of represent a water park. Discovery Island, fun. Exciting. So you can choose typefaces that reflect that for your slogan, your headline. You can choose colors that reflect that. Cheerful, there you go. Happy. Thrilling. Choose colors that represent that. You can choose a shape. You can choose the overall mood of your campaign based upon these adjectives. So that's kind of the powerful part of your process, is the adjective list, because you can really take a lot from that. Good. Now you can see I have 17. You could write, I mean, I've written over 100 adjectives before for certain projects. And then what I do is highlight the ones that I think are the most connected to it, and then, you know, what I can take from it. So that's that part. So you would just take your type tool, go ahead and write in right next to the number those keywords, those adjectives. Nope, it doesn't have to be. I just put that in there. You can delete, you know, if you just want to do 10, that's fine. I'd like to at least have 10 for you guys to think about. And this isn't set in stone. You can make this any way that you want. This is just a template. Advertising campaign strategies. Again, just another nice board to show that. You can duplicate this and have more if you want. So there we go. So let me see if I can find one online here, just so you can see it placed. So maybe like, hold on guys. Theme park. And you guys can't see what I'm doing here, so just kind of hang tight here. All right, trying to find one that looks pretty similar here. Let's see, water park maybe. Okay, here's a cute little example I'm gonna place in here. So I'm gonna take the first square, I'm gonna go File, Place, so Command D. I'm going to place in this advertisement. Now it might not fit perfectly in here, so you might go up to object, fitting, fit proportionately, or fit content proportionally if it's a vertical like this one, for instance. So this ad is for a water park. Let me zoom in so you can see what it says here. It's a Denmark safari park, and they have a water park. So they're combining this cute little giraffe here and compositing these water tubes around his neck. You know, so I just showing you kind of like different ad campaigns that you can place in here, that strategies that you like that could be incorporated into yours. I just picked that because visually I thought that was cute. But there's so many that you could just, you know, check out online. You know, just type in theme park campaign ideas or advertisements. You might know of some that you can recall that you have seen before that you might want to research and bring up, something you were inspired by. Depending on where you live too, you might be close to a theme park. So that's kind of where this kind of page is devoted towards. So you might come up with some stuff that you like. The whole idea of showing, you know, a composited image just like this, where you can say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is kind of a neat image here. Okay, so that's kind of the start of the presentation. And like I said, there, you know, this is completely up to you if you want to use this. This is about a 10 by 10 inch document here. And it's just very general. It's not specified to any type of brand. So that's why I wanted to give it to you guys to start out with. If you want to kind of make it your own, that's fine. It's just kind of a nice way to start off if you want to save some time. Any questions about that? Or I guess the main thing would be choosing your brand, who you want to do kind of work with, and start thinking about, you know, kind of the strategy that you want to use. So going through the discussion will definitely be good to do first, because you can, you know, look through all the different strategies that you can use in your own campaign. So that'll be the story. That's going to tell a story throughout each of your pieces. Okay, don't forget, you want a minimum of 300 words describing the direction for your campaign and what your creative concepts will be. You want to, any type of source citations that you take from like facts or images, you want to cite those. You could put them on the very back page and just have a, you know, a separate APA citation page and have it listed there. Target audience. Where would you look to know who the target audience is? If you were doing Discovery, the Discovery Island one, could you tell me what maybe competitors, who the competitors would be for that? You need some. It doesn't necessarily, I don't know if it actually says where they are. Parents and children could be the target audience, yeah. More, probably, yeah, definitely parents and children. Mm-hmm. Who are some of the competitors that you could look at that are similar to that brand? Let me bring up that fact sheet again. SeaWorld, that's a good one. That's a real good one. Six Flags, good. So this is a combination amusement and water park. Those are two good suggestions. Waterworld, yeah, there might be some more local ones that are around your place that are similar. Trying to think here. Okay, Florida's newest. Okay, so this one's in Florida. But I'm sure there's like a ton of different ones around the United States that could be very similar to this one. So what would you do if you knew that there are actual competitors of this brand? What would you do with that information? See who they target, and how would you do that? How would you go about that research? Look at their ads. Yeah, I would go immediately to their website, right? Yep. Go to the website, see what their overall look is. What works? How do they persuade people to come to their amusement park? What do they have to do? Do they have water rides? Here's water park rides. Go through their website, see how they advertise. What kind of imagery, what kind of story do they tell in regards to their website? You might look up Six Flag ad campaigns. Remember this guy? I remember this guy. The old guy kind of dancing around. It's playtime. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so what has worked for them in the past? What did they have out there? What other ones did you say? Waterworld? SeaWorld? I think SeaWorld. I'm not sure if they have amusement park rides, do they? Waterworld? Yeah. Busch Gardens is one in Florida, but I don't think I don't think they have water rides. I don't think they might actually. I lived in Florida. I never went to Busch Gardens, and it was so close. But this is what you would do. You would research kind of what their ads look like, competitor ads. Oh, okay. And go from there. See what they've done. See what works. They're obviously recognizable for a reason. So play off of that. Take what you think would work. Yeah, I think this is for I know they oh no. Busch Gardens in Tampa. Yep. Safari Fun Weekends. Sesame Street. And there's different seasonal events that they have. Like I know they have Hallow Scream in the wintertime. There's Christmas Town. So you might even want to look at seasonal stuff that's promoted as well. The other brands are, let's see here. I've been talking about the Discovery Cove one. Blue Mountain Ski Resort. Discovery Island Amusement Park. Red Valley Zoo. So, if you lean towards one more so than the others, definitely go towards that one, because the more interested you are in one of them, the better off you'll be in terms of, how interested you are with the project. So, or maybe more about, have gone to more so as far as maybe more zoos than water parks, or maybe you never skied before. Maybe you want to, not do that one unless you want to challenge yourself. I'm all about challenge. If you want to do that, that's fine. But don't forget, you guys need to come up with, very important here. Let's go. This is season events. Oh, you have a huge fear of skiing? Oh, geez. And then you need to take that one, Kay. Fear is a liar. Okay, so what is required? Use the existing landslide deal. Yeah. The avalanche. Use the existing company logo provided you cannot change or alter. Choose 2 different seasons and 1 event from each season to advertise. So in that list brief fact sheet, you'll see the seasons that they offer and events that they offer. So you're going to want to choose 2 different seasons. Now, obviously, you're going to do summer and fall, and well, some might have summer, fall. I'll have to look at all 3 of them. And then 1 event from each season to advertise. Assign the deliverables below to the seasonal events. So you might want to use, outdoor advertising for maybe more of the summer events. I don't know. Kind of think about how you're going to strategize that. Tamisha, that's funny. Yeah, you definitely have to. I know my ex-husband actually got me on a black diamond ski hill for my first experience skiing. Now, he was always in the ski club, so he was definitely more experienced than I was. That was my first time, and I pretty much almost divorced him at that point. Yep. I actually went down on my butt the whole way, and cried. And then he's like, okay, maybe you can do the bunny hill after this. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I need to do. Why didn't you do that in the first place? After I got used to it, I got better at it, but it was like I needed that time to train myself. So definitely could be scary for sure. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much what you guys, have to do. And there's a lot of research that goes into this. You'll be trying to think of who you want to, kind of start the campaign designing for first off. I would start with the discussions first. Start your discussion first so you can get the advertising strategies in place before you pick a client. I will have this empty, I mean, I'll take this stuff out. My logo here, but everything else I'll keep. I will place this InDesign file in announcements after we talk here. So you have that to work and download and work from if you want. You're welcome. But don't feel like you have to use it. And don't feel like you have to keep it the same look to it. When you're done, you can add pages, subtract pages. It's really flexible and up to you. Whatever you decide to do. When you're done, go ahead and export it as PDF. You could do smallest file size. Assignment 1. April BIS. Save it to my desktop. And then hit export. Save your native file. Make sure you have that ready to go. Give me 1 second here. Get all I have like so many windows open right now. It looks like a mess. So let me open up this PDF here. So when I open up this PDF, when you submit this for assignment 1, it will be hopefully in a nice presentation similar to this. And this is something that you can build off of. Let me open this up here. Oops, what am I doing? So this is the first page. And then you just flip through. There's 4 pages here. Okay, so then I can just flip through these and be like, okay, this is where your theme idea is going to. This is the client that you're going to do. I see your name up here, the client's name, who the target audience is, your slogan ideas, campaign inspiration. I can kind of visually see where you're going with your ideas here. And when I see this, I can kind of understand your process a little bit better going forward and help guide you where you need to go and go from there. So I will post that as soon as I am done with this lecture. All right, so the design process. You have any other questions with that project before I go on here? I think you guys, oh good. I think you guys will have fun with this. Don't overwhelm yourselves, just kind of take it one step at a time. Good. The design process, like I said, very important. You know, this is something that you need to do. Yeah, reading through it, I'm sure. Once you hear step by step, it's a little bit more, I think, less overwhelming, hopefully. So typically when you start a project like this, you will conduct a questionnaire or you will interview the client or have a meeting with them. You know, you can create a design brief, and in that you'll have the project summary, target audience, goals. This is something that you could sit down with your client and say, okay, give me your objectives here. What's the what do you need from me? Who is your target audience? You can get this information from them. Requirement tone and guidelines, requirements, communication plan, and obviously your schedule. You know, when is this going to be needed? So research and conduct research focused on the industry itself, on its history and its competitors. We talked about that. Reference, conduct research into design campaigns that have been successful in current styles and trends that may be related to that design brief and brand. So we already went through the creative concept here, so the slide is basically a little late here. So I will post that template. Like I said, 2 announcements, you can go forward with that, but I would highly suggest starting the discussion first. That way you kind of get the idea of different persuasive strategies that you can look into for your campaign. So that's pretty much what I have today. I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. If you have any questions, let me know. You can get started right away once I'm done here. Like I said, I'll post the template. You guys can get started. Awesome. All right, and tomorrow night we'll be meeting. So if you have any questions or you're having issues, bring in your work. Show us what you're working on. We'll have time to do that. So, sound good? All right, have a great night. Thanks for joining me. And we'll see you on the boards. Okay, good night, guys.